Hi, it's Kristen. Today I'm going to show you how to do this little fold over technique here in the corner to accent your photos and the like. This is a page that I made with this fold over flower and this little clip, and I'm just putting this on a Polaroid frame that I made here. But I'm not going to show you how I do all of that. This is just going to be a quick tutorial just to show you how to fold that over, how to use the dodge and burn tool to give it more of a realistic look, as well as adding some shadow. That's all we're doing today. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you here. I'm just using a plain flower that I got from it's the lily pad blog hop for International Scrapping Day, and this was from Danielle. And then I have a clip here from Mommyish, also of the lily pad, and those are the two elements that I'm using. So we're going to go from this to this, and as you can see, it makes it go from a two-dimensional object to a three-dimensional object, and it's just so that it'll give your page a more realistic element and accent to your page. So let's go ahead and open a new workspace and just do File and New, and then whatever size your page that you want. I'm just gonna leave it here with my blank workspace, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my flower, and I'm going to bring that into my space, and just so I have it, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the clip, drag it, and bring it in as well. So I'll have my clip in here. So on the flower layer here, as you can see, it's highlighted. I'm going to first, because these came over as a smart object, I'm just going to rasterize them both so that I can make any changes I want. The first thing I'm going to do with the flower is I want to cut it in half. So I'm going to use the rectangle marquee tool, and just at the top of the flower, I'm just going to go ahead and pretty much smack dab in the center, just put the rectangle around the top portion of the element. I'm just going to add some white here to the back. Just going to fill that so you can see it a little better. Okay, let's do that again. I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm just going to use the marquee tool, rectangle marquee tool, and just draw a rectangle just on the top portion of the flower. Once I have that done, then I'm just going to go up to Layer, New, and I want to do Layer via Cut. The shortcut key is Shift Control J, or it's Shift Command J in a Mac. But just go ahead and do Layer via Cut, and as you can see here in the layer palette, it has now put the top portion on its own layer. With that done, what I want to do is this, with my layer selected in the layer panel, the top portion, I want to go to Edit, Transform, and Flip Vertically. So now, as you can see, it has now flipped the top of the flower and it placed it upside down. So let's go to the mover tool, and let's go ahead and drag this down. Once you drag it down, drag it so that it matches up with the bottom portion of the flower. And now we're going to just add a shadow to both of them, just so we can see the separation. So the top portion of the flower, I'm just going to add a quick shadow, and I'm going to do the same on the bottom. And that was from my style panel, but if you look here with the drop shadow, indicated, and you can get that with the FX here at the bottom. But with the FX and the drop shadow, I have this as a linear burn. The shading is a brown color to a 1904, 45-degree angle. The distance is a 4 and the size is a 5. So that's what I have as the shading for both portions of the flower. Now I want to get this top one a little bit darker. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. Depending upon which version of Photoshop, I'm using Photoshop CC. You may not have the ability to do that, but if you separate it, you can always duplicate that. But I have 2 of my shadow layers here so that I could duplicate it, and I'm just moving one of them just ever so slightly to make it a little darker. And I'm going to click OK. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom portion of the flower. I'm going to just duplicate that and just bring that out just a little bit so we can see that we have that going on. So you can see that there is a separation here. Okay, now that they're lined up, now I'm going to go ahead and over in the toolbar, I'm going to go ahead and click on the burn tool. And with my layer selected with the top portion of the flower, I'm just going to go ahead and just on the edges, I want to darken this with the burn tool. Now the burn tool, I have it set at mid-tone and exposure at 100%, but if you wanted it a little bit lighter, just go ahead and drag the exposure down a little bit. But I want it a little bit darker here on the edges and right up here at the top. When it's up at the top, it's going to end up looking like it is bending over. Okay, I'm just going to go back to clicking on the mover tool. Now I'm going to grab my clip and I'm going to put that over. I'm going to use the transform tool and get this exactly where I want it. Rotate it a little bit. And I want it so it looks like it's just right over the fold of the flower. Now as you can see, I have this little bit of white here. You can get rid of that 2 different ways. You can click on it and with your magic wand tool and click on it and that'll highlight it. You can delete it, or you can I'm just going to go ahead and mask it. So I already have it highlighted and I'm just going to click on the my alt and the mask here at the bottom, and now that masked it out so it's gone. And again, I'm going to add a shadow as well, same shadow that I used before. And let me see if I want to add another one. Let's see, we can do that. Slide it out just a little bit, give it some dimension. And it's the same, I'm just going to change this to 45 degrees so that our shadows are going the same direction. Okay, that looks good. And the other thing, I'm going to end up doing some, again with the burn tool here in my toolbar, using the burn tool, I'm just going to just darken the edge here a little bit of the clip. So it looks like the light is coming, the shadowing and the light, it's all in the same direction. Now let's go down to the bottom portion here of the flower. We're going to do the same. We're just going to darken just a little bit of the edge here with the burn tool. And now I'm going to flip over. Nestled in with the burn tool is also the dodge tool. So let's go ahead and grab that real quick. And using the left bracket, I'm going to make my my brush tool just a little bit smaller. And as you can see up here, it's showing that it's the dodge tool. It's the soft round brush, mid-tones. And right now my exposure is at 23%. I'm just going to bring this up just a little bit. And I'm just going to dot in a few different spots where I want some of the white or some of the dodging to go. I'm going to flip over to the top portion of the flower, And I want to get in here where the actual normal petals are and just lightly do a little dodging to make it lighter. And just to give it a little bit more dimension, and flip back to the burn tool just to refine it a little bit. Now that's at a really sharp angle, so what I'm going to do here with this top flower piece is I'm going to actually take the transform tool and I'm going to use warp. I'm just going to bend this down just a little bit, just so it'll give it a rounded edge. Just dragging it down just a little bit. And then do the same with the bottom portion, just so it's not looking like it's cut right directly in half. Just bring that down just a little bit. Using the smudge tool, just kind of smudge that in just a little bit, just to soften it. That's all we're doing. And there you go. Now you can just go ahead and link all of these together by highlighting the bottom layer above the background and going up to the top with the clip, holding your shift key and just grabbing them all together and then just clicking on this link. You can also group them by clicking on this little file and just put, folded flower, so that they'll work as one piece. And then when you go ahead and make your page, then all you're doing is adding this to the top of your Polaroid or your photo frame. And then you have it. It's real quick, real easy, and we went from something that was flat and stagnant to something that gave it more of a three-dimensional look. So I hope you have fun with this. Just experiment. You can do this with, it doesn't have to be a flower, it can be anything. But I just found that this is a fun little useful tool that you can use to accent all your photographs. Just add a little bit of extra to your pages. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.